Hi everyone, it's Marvin Mania at the Carnegie Free Library in San Fernando. I'm Renata and I'm here with Oprah Francis, the author and illustrator behind the adventures of Marvin the Mischievous Manicou. So Oprah, what are we going to do here today?
Well, Renata, I have a very special activity planned for you today. Today we'll be making...
Is Marvin in there?
Maybe. Today we'll be making...
Oh.
Marvin the Mischievous Manicou.
Oh, before we make Marvin, could you tell us a little bit about him?
Sure, Renata. The first thing you should know, in other parts of the world, manicous are referred to by another name.
Really? What are they called?
They are actually called opossums in other parts of the world, which brings me to my second point about manicous. Manicous are known for playing possum.
Playing possum?
Yep, playing possum. So playing possum is like playing dead. So when a manicou is in danger, it will lay on its back, stick out its tongue, and pretend to play dead to escape its predators.
That is interesting. But is there anything else people don't know about manicous?
Well, there are a few things a lot of people don't know about manicous. One is that they're a bit similar to us in that they have opposable thumbs. So the same way we could do our fingers this and carry our thumbs round and round like this, manicous could actually do the same thing, and it helps them carry fruits and other things they may find in the forest from time to time. Another thing to know about manicous, well, female manicous in particular, is that they carry their babies in a front pouch right here, similar to kangaroos and koalas.
Really?
Yup. That's actually a trait amongst animals known as marsupials.
Marsupials? So manicous aren't rodents?
No. So even though a manicou may look like a rat, it does not belong to the rodent family. It actually belongs to the marsupial family along with kangaroos and koalas.
Wow, that's interesting stuff. Who would have thought there's so many things to learn about those furry little animals that run around in my backyard?
I know, right?
So now we know a little bit more about Marvin. Let's go straight into today's activity. So Oprah, how are we going to make Marvin?
So let's start with the material. We are going to use a toilet paper roll to make Marvin. And this toilet paper roll will form the base of Marvin's body. And of course, Marvin is a furry little critter. So he has some nice brown fuzzy material around his body. So we will be using this fuzzy material here, this dark chocolate brown material. And you could use brown Bristol board, you could use brown cardstock, brown paper, really the preference is yours. We will also be using cream Bristol board or cardstock for his face. And as I said, you could substitute other materials. Even if you just have white Bristol board, you could use some cream color pencils or whatnot and color it in. Right, we also have some googly eyes, and we will be using this pink pipe cleaner for his tail. And of course, we have our trusty tools to help us along the way. So we have our color pencils, we have our ruler, we have our marker, we have scotch tape, we also have our trusty glue gun.
Great, let's get started.
To make Marvin, let's start with his fur, right? So we need to cut some fur for Marvin. So we will just use the toilet paper roll to get a rough estimate of how wide this needs to be. So we put this right here like this. And we will draw coming across. Just a little mark. And then we will use our ruler to draw a line coming down this way. And then we're going to cut along the line we just drew. Right, so we're just going to cut the material like this. So you could do the same. So you're drawing the mark based on your toilet paper roll. Right, and then you could use the ruler just to get a rough line. So you'll know exactly where to cut. this foam will form the base of Marvin's body. So what we're going to do now, we're going to take our toilet paper roll and we're going to run one strip of glue right across. And then we're going to fold the material around and run another strip of glue to seal it, right? So we need to be very careful. Right, so we're running one strip of glue right across. And you don't really need too much glue, but just enough to seal. Right?
Thank you.
And then we're going to apply the material and just add a little pressure just to seal it. And then we're going to wrap it around the toilet paper roll. And you're just going to add a little glue at the end to seal. Right, so just apply a bit of pressure. And now, Marvin has fur. We have Marvin's body. So let's move on to Marvin's hands, feet, and his face as well. So for the brown Bristol board, what we're going to do, we're just going to draw his hands and we're going to draw his feet. So what I like to do, I would usually use a pencil first and then use a marker after just to thicken the lines a bit. So we're drawing some nice circular shapes. We're coming around like this. And we're just going to draw about 4. Right? So round to the top, straight to the sides, round to the bottom. So we really don't need to do this too big. Just the right size for the toilet paper roll. Right? Then I'll take my black marker and thicken the lines a bit. And this usually helps me with cutting as well, because the line would be so thick, I'll have more space to cut. So now we have his hands and his feet, right? So now, Renata, let's move on to Marvin's face, all right? So what we're going to do, we're going to draw a nice little pointed shape. It will be wide to the top and pointed to the bottom for his snout. Right, so we're going to give Marvin a nice wide face. So wide to the top, similar to if you were drawing a heart. So wide to the top. And then become narrow to the bottom. Right? And then we just use our black marker to do a nice rough outline. So we have his face, right? And we have his ears. We drew out his ears already, so I'm just going to outline his ears. And what I'm going to do right now, we're going to cut out all the shapes that we just drew, right? So I'm just going to cut around. So as you can see, the black marker, the black line, the thick line, it helps you with cutting. Because it's a bit wider, so it's easier to cut. Right, so just watch our fingertips. Be careful going around the curves. So now let's give his face some life, right? So we're going to add his eyes and his nose. So first, let's color in his nose using the pink color pencil. So just to the bottom here, because Marvin has a pointed snout. We're just going to color this in. And we are going to color his ears as well. Alright, so just give him a little color right here. So as I said, you could use a color pencil, you could use a crayon if you like, you could even use a marker. The option really is yours and it's what's available. But all those materials will do. You'll look just as fine. Alright, so we have some nice pink ears. So you see his face is coming to life now. And now we're just going to apply the googly eyes. Alright, so just a small dot of glue on each side, not too much. Alright, so let's be careful to avoid any spills. And if you don't have googly eyes, that's okay. You could always make your own eyes using paper. So just draw some circles, draw some dots and cut it out. That will work just as fine. So Marvin's face is coming together, right? And we're just going to stick his ear right to the back of his head. So just apply a little glue. And we're going to fasten his ear to the back of his head. So just like this. Marvin has a face.
A very handsome chap.
But one thing to know about Manicous is that they have very large leaf-like ears, right? So they're pink on the inside, but you have the brown fur coming to the back. So we're just going to add a bit of that around his ears just to bring it together a bit better, right? So while this is drying, let's cut the outer ear. So using some of the brown scrap material you had from earlier, you're just going to draw 2 more ears, but we're just going to draw them a bit larger than what we did previously. So we have our trusty black marker, and we're just going to draw the outline. Right? And now we're just going to cut the excess off and cut our shape. So you could have this prepped from before, but I like to do it after just to give the other parts of the face some time to dry. Alright. So once we have that cut, we're just going to, thank you, apply glue, same as before, just a little bit of glue to the back, and we're going to fasten this behind. So this way you can see the inner ear and the outer ear. So now Marvin has large, brown leaf-like ears. So let's start piecing everything together, right? So we have our body. So I think our body is pretty dry right now. So we're just going to remove the clothespin. Put this to the side. And now we are going to add his tail. So this is where we would be using our Scotch tape. So let's just get I like to use clear tape because you don't really see it as much. So you get a cleaner finish. But you could also use masking tape as well. That's not a problem. Or if you have some heavy duty glue, you could use that as well. And we have Marvin's tail. Because it's a pipe cleaner, you could curl it, you could twirl it as you like. So let's give him a little nice long curves. So here we have Marvin's tail. So now that we have his tail attached to his body, let's add the other pieces that we did before.
Yes.
Right? So we have his body here. So we're just going to apply a bit of glue to the top. So now we could do the same thing for his hands and his feet. So we're just going to put a dot of glue here, one to the left and one to the right. So this will be for his hands. So we apply a bit of pressure. So Marvin has some hands. Okay, so now we have his hands, so let's move on to his feet. So we're going to put his feet on the table like this. And we're just going to add a small strip of glue to the center of his feet. Just like this. So let's be careful with the glue. And we're going to fasten this to his body. Just like this. And we have Marvin coming together.
So Oprah, thank you so much for visiting us today. If there's anyone who wants to get more information about Marvin and other animals of Trinidad and Tobago, where can we go?
Well, the full Adventures of Marvin the Mischievous Manicou, the full book series is out now. So you can visit any local bookseller to get your copy of the Adventures of Marvin the Mischievous Manicou. And you can also follow Marvin the Manicou on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube for more updates and information on Marvin.
Lovely. Not forgetting Nalis. Check out Nalis on Facebook for the next episode of Marvin and Friends Craft and Storytime series.